the champion league.
Okay, 305 Fights with the Champions Right. 305 donde surgen los campeones. We have a great podcast today. We have a great show. We have a great master and his partner here in the studios. I've been wanting to interview him for a while because I believe he has the energy that 305 Fights has, is to have the martial arts rise. Master Buiu, thank you. So how you pronounce it?
Buiu.
Buiu.
Yeah, that's
Buiu.
it. My name is Michell, but
Michelle
Buiu, yes.
Pereira.
Pereira.
Pereira. You know, I know a jiu-jitsu master from New York named Pereira.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us.
And your lovely
Julie, wife.
wife.
Yes,
Thank you
yes.
very much for coming and be part of the show.
Thank you.
We're going to have a great show. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We want to educate and communicate to our public.
Yes.
We're going to hopefully inspire them to do greater things. And hopefully they'll find everything we're doing, like 305 Fights, South Florida entertainment.
Yes.
Okay. To start, can you please briefly explain to me a little bit about Carson Gracie Miami, your academy?
All right. Carson Gracie Miami Academy was a beginning of like a epical idea in South Florida, based in my four previously partners, great partners that I, through martial arts, I will be able to meet them. And in a trip with a friend of mine that's now in China, which is he also like he's a Carson Gracie lineage, Kiko. With the partners, they decide to make a Carson Gracie point, place, training facility here. So they have me as the lineage to be able to open up a school. So we chose like Kendall location, a little bit down south for the center of like the most likely the martial arts, because like Broward with the main school names up there, that's what attracts the most. So in 2008, we were very fortunate to be able to get a location, you know, and that's how everything started.
Yeah, I was reading that I have here, the Carson Gracie family in a ceremony, honor, and recognition award the expansion of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in South Florida. So you were awarded that.
Oh, wow, yes.
To Michael Porfirio Pereira.
Yes, sir.
Buiu. Raised and born in Rio de Janeiro,
Yes.
the official Ghost Squad.
Yes, I hopefully one day I can take the 305 Fights there
Oh, awesome.
and a trip. We have a place there, lovely home there, and hopefully I can have you guys there, and then we can maybe do something in the future, Professor.
Whatever. We're
Trust
going to
me.
do a lot of things in the future because, again, you are in the sport, you are in the business, but most of all, you're promoting the art and the martial arts. And that's what we do. That's what we say in our logo, says respect and honor.
Yes.
And that's how we're going. I think that's how we're going to make the sport better, the combat sports better, entertainment better. Tell me about the programs you have over there at the location.
Yeah, the programs that we offer at our location, we go abroad like a group age of kids as 4 years old, because I believe that will be the milestones for martial arts, especially in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so speaking. That's why my field. And we go from 4 years old. We have baby class, kids class, teens class, adults class, which is the group range. I would say an average of 33 years old up to 45 years old. So gentlemen that are looking for the martial arts prospect. The grounding. So that's, I think, one of the main reasons that they're looking for to our
Excellent.
place.
I've been to your academy. Safe, clean, great environment, a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge, a lot of technical knowledge. You have jiu-jitsu, gi, no gi. Tell me the different programs.
Yes, when we started in the beginning, we used to have like 2 days a week no gi program. 2008, I believe the transition was in the middle of 2012 that we only reduced for one no-gi class due to the fact that most of my students, they are looking for like a kimono, you know, due to the fact that I was the only one official International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation with the credentials to teach the art in South Florida. That would create a huge wave for people coming to my school, and they don't want to get involved. That time, they didn't want to get too much involved in the no-gi. The no-gi at that time, I can speak for myself, was more towards to the MMA. I did migrate a little bit, like from some classes with gloves and mouth guards and headgears and shin guards. But the clientele, the public that were coming, they were more looking for the gi class, the traditional martial arts with the kimono, with the belt. And then, years later, some of them actually chose that path to teach others, which makes me very grateful. Nowadays, we have several students that they chose that path. So yeah, we do now have like one day exclusive for the kids, the teens and the adults, not the babies yet. We try to keep them safe. On Fridays, we have our grappling submission classes, which is run by a good friend of mine, Raymond Fondora.
Ceviche. I've been to his class.
Yes. And I'm very grateful to have him there as the bottom of his heart and the bottom of my heart. We have a good combination to produce a class exclusive for students that want to migrate to the fight field. Yes. And fortunately, we'll be able to come along with the 305 fights, and then we will be able to slightly, I'll say, like having them on the show.
Correct.
They lovely to be there. They like to fight. They like the energy. And then the other days of the weeks, morning classes is, regular executive classes. We have law enforcement. We have dentists, doctors,
Yeah, one of the things that I like that it's our idea also to have fights, and also thank you very much for supporting to have fights,
100%.
is that it's inclusive, meaning you have programs for everybody because martial arts is for everybody.
Yes.
You have the martial art and the art with the gi, with the self-defense, yes, the tradition,
yes,
the philosophy, the principles. Then you have the competitive that we'll talk about later. You have great competitors. You've developed some great competitors.
Thank you.
So now you have the sport. And then from that sport, whoever wants to develop will develop to combat sports and champions. And I believe that encompassing all of it, inclusive, is what we want to do too, because sometimes people forget that the champions you see in the UFC and in combat sports or whatever, they started in martial arts.
Yeah.
They started, and the ones that are successful are really great martial artists.
100%.
So I really enjoy that. I also enjoy that, you talk about the philosophy and the self-defense part, because there are different parts to this. And you mentioned that one of the instructors that I have a lot of respect for, behaves like a gentleman, everything, is Sensei Ray Fundora. I want to talk a little bit about yourself.
Yes,
I know you have a 50-degree black belt.
Yes, sir.
In jiu-jitsu, but I also know that you studied judo, 5, and a little background also in Shotokan karate, which
yes,
I have a background in karate.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yes, Professor. Basically, I was a very hyper kid in my neighborhood in Rio de Janeiro. I studied judo in a little tiny school in Laranjeiras, which is like a little suburbs, very family-oriented neighborhood, upper class kids going to karate, judo, and judo was more famous that time. So as a 5-year-old, my mom, I need to put this kid to do something. So I be able to take a couple of classes. I really enjoyed. And then due to the fact that my father is a doorman back then in Brazil, and my mom was a maid. Actually, she was a maid until 5 years ago that I was be able to bring this to this beautiful country. My parents always trying to looking for places that I couldn't put myself in martial arts. So due to the fact that the building that my father was working, the contracts end up, so we had to relocate ourselves. So, and to that, I took the taste for judo, and then I have a little gap as far as martial arts. At the age at 10, I have this new neighborhood, which is Leblon. And there has a gentleman that was teaching Taekwondo. I didn't know what Taekwondo is back then. So he was trying to build his program, and then I was one of his students. From Taekwondo, I remember that I did, I think, 1 year of kickboxing, which is more like using with the elbows, clinch. And then as an age as 14, I was fortunately to jump into Shotokan, which is actually make my foundation with the more sort of respect. The traditional Japanese style was like in cursive in this whole martial arts of karate with the respect to call the professor sensei, bow when you get to the mats, you pledge your respect. When you at the dojo, you don't curse, you don't talk bad to nobody, you just emphasize and bring it up. That taught me a lot. But one of the things that taught me a lot, and now I bring it back memories, is like every class after my Shotokan class finished, Sensei used to clean the mat. Sensei Paulo Góes, in memoriam, he passed away. He would put one of his second men to put a product to clean the mat, and all the students, after an hour and a half practice, drenched in sweat on their gis, we have to clean the mats. And that shows me a huge signal of respect, because that's the place that he was feeding his family. The reason that I explain to my students, the reason that you bow to the mats is not like just to show respect to a symbolism, a picture on the wall. It's a place that families are being fed over there. People are being congregate together on the mats. We be able to support other people less fortunate to be able to train. So that's the reason that, yes, we do almost 90 degrees. We bow to show that symbolism of respect. Of course, besides the master's pictures on the wall, but most and overall, I like to explain to everyone, I do bow to my mats because that's the place that I can, have my wife, my companion, my kids, be able to provide a good education from them. And that's how I think the lineage of a martial artist should be. Show respect to your dojo, show respect to the masters, show respect to the people that are there before you.
Correct. Excellent. Again, I'm glad to have you on the show because you have vast experience and knowledge in various arts. And that's something that we'll share to hopefully somebody get something out of educated.
Yes.
Number two,
Yes.
I think a point is when I use the word traditional, what I'm talking about is traditional values, virtues, merits, which I think should transcend no matter the evolution of the art, no matter the evolution of the sport. So I'm sort of like, I guess you could say traditional, non-traditional, because we've modernized, we've evolved, and we should evolve.
Yeah.
Well, we keep traditional or classical is the word that I like, is the virtues and the merits. What are the virtues and merits? Like we say, respect, honor, compassion, all these wisdom, benevolence, propriety. I can name you all of the ones that we use. I think that that's so important to keep that with the technique, with the working out together. Of course, techniques evolve. Of course, methods of training evolve.
Yeah.
So things evolve and change, but there's a constant in the change. What is the constant? The virtues, the values, and the philosophy. So it has an element of all those things. Let's get into a little bit of the sport, because I know that you yourself have competed.
Yes, sir.
And you've trained great competitors.
Thank you, sir.
I've been there in the academy. I've experienced it. I've seen your competitors in 305 fights. I've gone to different grappling events or some events coming up now. What do you think are the elements to train a good competitor? Let's say first physically, technically, and then mentally.
In the days that we live was a little bit different. You mentioned right about the traditional part. When I started, was a few masters around. Technology was not something very pleasant as nowadays. You can be a great martial artist in about 6 months or in a quarantine watching YouTube videos and watching Instagram pages, but nothing's gonna replace having somebody to guide you through 5-10 years. When I do open the dojo, one of the main things that I mention is I can have 30 students, 60 students, 100 students inside of the dojo. But if all of them does not have integrity, they don't respect the duties that they have to have as a martial artist, I had to have one student to replace all of that. Because I know that person is gonna follow, is gonna pave the philosophy that I might be in years later, I won't be able to do it anymore because of my capabilities, So nowadays, as a regular citizen, as a regular person that are looking for martial arts, open up yourself to the professor, the person that's there to show you how he paid himself, if he has integrity, if the way that he talks when somebody tried diminishing him or not supporting him, how he's going to react to those things. He's going to show you that no matter whatever is outside, you cannot get affected. You still got to keep your composure. If a fighter on the other side of the cage cursing bad names, keep your martial arts integrity. So that way you can follow the steps to be successful in your victory. Any victory, I'm saying.
When you're talking about that, the word that comes to my mind is discipline.
Yes.
That same
100%.
discipline, and it's good that we're connecting things. That same discipline that you said to talk about to be a higher self. And it takes discipline. It's not easy.
No.
It's the same discipline that is practiced in the dojo, the kun, in the gym. Like we say physical, for example, physical preparation for competition. To be able to go when you're sore, push through another round of rolling, or the physical training, the push-ups or whatever, that discipline that takes to push through that physical training, I think is the same discipline that is needed to when it's faced with all these other obstacles and hardships. Let me ask you,
Yes,
for competition, for grappling, for grappling physically, do you believe in conditioning, like with the modern equipments, the old equipments? What do you think is a good, if somebody's out there trying to train themselves? Of course, you said first of all is have a qualified teacher most than everything, because you can give the best advice. That was very good.
Thank you.
What do you suggest physically? A lot of running, a lot of swimming. Like me, for example. For me, I think if you're going to grapple, swimming is a great.
Swimming is a great sport.
So what do you think physically? Preparation.
Professor, I'll tell for myself, and I tell for my guinea pigs students.
Yeah.
I do have a black belt right now. His name is Jose Pita. If I tell you the past, I'll say, of course, before the quarantine, if I tell you the past 6 months, I saw Jose Pita completely change his strength, his ability to do the moves that he could do it 2, 4, 5 years ago. He is my perfect guinea pig. And as I see for myself, and that was limiting myself to actually push to the next level, still be active, still be able to compete, still be able to perform as my best of capabilities and abilities, but still giving my time to do conditioning. So without any plus more, conditioning nowadays for somebody that really get into a cage fight, somebody that want to do a grappling match, somebody that want to do a BJJ match, somebody that want to do to the fight world, if you don't have conditioning, if your condition is not pretty much 60% of your training, you're not going to be successful. I will divide the other parts as your intake, food intake. Will you take it? Your resting, it's important, and your mindfulness. You have to be mindfulness. You cannot have any external things outside of the world affect you. Oh, this is not going to work. Oh, this workout is not going to work. Oh, this is whack. Names like that is just like people trying to make like a wall right in front of you and try to diminish what you're doing because they might be won't capable to do it. Yes, you can practice the sports jiu-jitsu, which is I call sport jiu-jitsu, be the regular gentleman that goes to the gym, puts his gi, do the regular warm-up, train at the position of the day or the position of the week, and then he goes to sport. That's fine. We do have plenty of those, and that's fine. But the gentleman that's looking for a fight career, if he does not have those combinations, forget it. In my time, the main thing was like running at the beach, which is great, by the way. You have a nice sightseeing, I'll tell you that. Well, maybe now I cannot look at too much because I'm married.
Me too.
But
let's
when I was
clarify
single,
that, me too.
Yeah, let's clarify that. When I was single, I couldn't do that. But you have the beach to run, and it was a long stretch. Like I said, one day we're going to take you guys there, Professor. Then you have pull-ups and dips. That was a preparation back then. But we're talking about 20, 30 years ago. Nowadays, yes, with the supplement enhancing on the market that makes people believe that the joviality is going to bring it up in a little capsule pill, great, but it's not going to prolong your life in jiu-jitsu as a 40s, as 50s. You still want to, do your little grappling. You won't be able to have the speed to punch and kick, but you can be able to be on the ground and play with your kids and play with your fellow colleagues. But if you don't have that conditioning on you, and I'm very grateful that mentioned, not forgetting, we do have a great conditioning training at the dojo with Kathy Jones, my first female black belt in the United States, from white to black, which is a very
Awesome.
pleasant to say that.
Congratulations, yes.
She runs a phenomenal program. And what I see in Jose Peter is what I wonder for myself. I just have to manage my class times. And for everybody that's listening to the program, don't rely on yourself. Only put in a gi and go train.
Yeah, you know, you said a word that I'm always learning. I'm learning right now with you, and always, especially in competition,
Yes.
training competitors and having a combat sports league, conditioning, even above strength and everything else. I see most people after the first round, they're already dead.
I see that too.
Yeah, and conditioning comes, I think, with a mixture of, like you said, running in the beach,
Yeah.
swimming,
Yeah.
also doing a lot of rolls or rounds. You know, it's funny. I think you have to mix like old school with new school. That's
Correct.
my idea. Because I've done conditioning, and let's say I go over there on a Friday and I jump in and I do two rounds of 5 minutes running around, and I'm like, oh God, it's like when I was wrestling in high school. We could run, we could
Yeah.
do stairs, but you did 3-minute match of wrestling and it was like swimming against the current.
Correct.
So I realized, hey, you know what? Yes, there's a lot of type of training, but this type of training, what I call specificity, is going to give you this conditioning that you need. And I think it was Matt Hughes said, don't give me a fighter with heart. Give me a fighter with lungs. Because he said
That's where we're gonna go toe to toe for real.
Yeah, because that's the key in conditioning. You also mentioned, without even me asking, was the other parts, which is the nutrition.
100%.
But you said a very important part, the mental condition. And you said something in a way that I've thought about it, but you said in different words,
Yes.
which is good and expanded my idea, was to mentally prepare yourself, you also have to be around a positive environment.
Correct.
Because positive thoughts give you that mental conditioning to be successful also. I notice in the fights, being a producer and being a trainer, is somebody could look, Rose Namajunas is going to be fighting very soon. She's a great technical person, but you notice that when she stepped into the octagon, or she stepped backstage, or she faces the person, all of a sudden her mindset
Shuts down.
Yeah. And you know, so you said something that I didn't notice before, is maybe before the fight she had some negative things in her life, and you know what? Those negative thoughts influence the mental perspective she has to have to compete.
100%. I do have like students, that they on the sidelines, besides a professor, you become a counselor, you become a doctor, you become a nutritionist, you overall, that's why, probably like the platforms out there will give it to you, but nothing is going to replace like a talk, a shake of hands, a hug with the person that you can trust.
Time, energy, and effort.
Yes.
You've created competitors as in the field of the competitive combat sports and business. We're success coaches. And I think a true success coach is going to tell you sometimes what you don't want to hear.
Correct.
That it takes time, energy, and effort.
Correct. That
You said something important, that a theme that we say, that's do not pursue limitations, research possibilities.
Correct.
Don't tell me why you can't make it in time. Find a way to make it
Find
in
a
time.
way. Exactly.
Don't tell me that it's hard. It's funny because I read your background, and that's why.
Thank you, Professor.
I think we have some affinity. Is you come from a background where you had to put time, energy, and effort to be successful as you are. I myself, and I don't like to talk about this because everybody likes to talk. Oh yeah, I'm from the ghetto, and everybody had a hardship. No, and they think that's something glorious, But I started martial arts at 9 years old at Alapata, YMCA, and the Pork and Beans projects. Okay, and if you can come out of the projects with 2 twins and 2 parents that didn't speak any English, and do that, anybody that comes up with an excuse,
correct,
that it's just an excuse.
Yes.
And you're saying it, and it's good because it needs to be said. There's no excuses. Don't pursue limitations, research possibilities. Let me ask another question.
Yes,
technically,
Professor. Yes.
Okay, because I know you guys, now don't give all the ghost secret.
Oh.
Ghost secrets. I'm trying to get Fundora to give me those ghost secret
Oh
techniques.
my God.
He told me, we have ghost techniques. And I go, oh, I like that.
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, this week I show a move, and his son, Mika Fondora, he was doing the move, right? And then I'm looking, and he was with another teammate, and I said, Mika, you know the move, but you're missing a one little detail. I said, Buiu, but he's tapping. I said, yeah, he's tapping because he's your teammate. But we need to do the technique with the person that is not a teammate. You got to do the technically right. So he was missing a little detail with the wrist under the armpit, so I'll be able to get corrected to him right on point. But the way, like, what you said is right. Yes, everybody probably have a sad story, but it's okay to have a sad story, but don't make that sad story as your cannonball for the rest of your life. That's a chapter of your life. Yes, you don't need to say my background. Everybody can looking for. I do have friends that when I still teach in the favelas in Rio, they still reach me out. They still talk to me. They might won't speak the English that I was be able to, but I always explain it to them what I'm doing, how I am, and what I want to. So that friendship stays longer because of that. And if you have your student keep your friendship with you, he will listen to you if it's gonna be bad or good, because you're gonna tell him the truth. And it's always a cliche, but the truth always hurts. Nobody wants to listen to the truth, you know. But hey, it is what it is, and I'm all like that.
And it empowers you. That's like the saying that it empowers you, because it's just saying that the truth sets you free. It does really set you free. Yeah. Now, technique-wise, because we have some videos that we're going to edit into later on into our
some ghost techniques.
We have some videos that I took from social media and put it into the interview. And I think you were filming for Telemundo or somewhere, and you were showing some moves from the bottom and some techniques. And I was talking to Ray, and he was saying, well, we have ghost techniques. And what he described, and maybe I'm wrong, but we can talk a little bit about technique, is that they're called ghost techniques because you don't see them coming, or like you said, you might not see the little details hidden, but the detail. I heard a master say, if you correct the little things, then the big things become easy.
Correct. And that's something that I want to mention. Of course, like taking the opportunity, if you allow me to say to my student and actor Pedro Moreno gave me the opportunity to show that day to Univision how he can be able to show the techniques to his producer, his crew, and they got mesmerized, you know. Yes, the technique sometimes is there, you know, you show to the student, but they always have a little touch that makes a difference. That's when I like to jump in. That's when I like to get on them on the side. Look, you're gonna fight. So for the general public, that's how we do it. But when you're fighting, you have a little twist. That twist makes a difference when the person actually gonna apply for it. And I don't have no secrets to hide. Look, Professor, one of the things that I always tell my students, you ask me a question, I can be tired, I can be hungry, I can be sleepy, but I'll make the best of that question be your best of the answer.
Because what I noticed, for example, my weight was going back. So I was not keeping a constant pressure. So in other words, I didn't really have balance. Or what they call based out or whatever, but I call it as balance.
That's the word, balance.
I didn't have balance. And so it doesn't matter how you're doing the technique, if you don't have the balance, when you have a resistant person and the person's going to resist, it's not going to work as good. Is that correct?
Perfect, 100%. I play sometimes with some of my students that, you know, they play baseball back in the days, you know, and I told them, listen, jiu-jitsu is not a baseball. I love the game, actually, you know, I like to watch it. But the baseball, you get the ball and you throw the ball, right? And the ball go away. Jiu-jitsu, somebody wants to try throw you and you want to throw me as well. So it's going to be a back and forth. So whoever find that little gap, the little lack of a balance is going to be able to apply a sweep, is going to be able to pass your guard, is going to be able to apply submission. So with the days, with the time, with the grinding on the mats, training, that's going to give you that, because you're going to vivid that situation several times. A lot of people that has different bodies, they move in a different ways, and you're going to understand that the same way that you move is probably going to work with everyone, but you have to adapt it to whoever you spar with. A guy that's younger, a guy that's stronger, a guy that's taller, shorter, but your weight is still the same. The centralization of your weight is still the same. The pressure that you keep is still the same. So one little inch that you move because, oh, this guy is lighter, I'm gonna just jump it over him. He's gonna make you fly, and he's gonna make you fly over to your head, and you're gonna see like a roller coaster in Disneyland, and then, boom, you landed on your back and said, how the heck happened? This little guy with 150 pounds swept me, I'm 185 pounds. You know, and that's the point that people don't understand. You control your mass on top of somebody else or on the bottom, it's make a huge impact. That comes what we spoke about like 15 minutes ago, if you correct me, I'm wrong.
In our organization, there is a behind the scenes.
Correct.
And everybody doesn't know the time and energy and effort to put it in, to have an event, and then, like you said, to pass the baton. The baton, and then later on, we're going to have Matthew Dodge from Dodge Sports. We're going to talk even more about the behind the scenes. Before we go,
yes,
there's some fights coming up on the UFC. There's a big fight they're going to have on Fight Island. It's going to be Usman against Burns.
Ooh.
Burns is a local martial artist that I think is very well known in the jiu-jitsu community.
Dude, he's a friend of mine.
Okay,
yes,
awesome. So I'm going to ask the question.
He's a friend of mine.
Yeah, and he's going to meet Usman, which has really good striking and a wrestling background. How do you see that match? How do you see the fight going?
Well, besides they're on the same camp with Mr. Buiu, besides they be training partners before, besides that, they're, I believe, colleagues. I think nowadays the personal aspect in a situation like that will be putting aside, because there's much more on the line right now. I believe they still have the respect between the fighters, and I tell you that because about like 4 years ago, two members of another club, they were fighting, I believe, for Rooster division in another organization, and they're teammates. And then the coach was literally like with the broken heart, because I don't think that would be in my opinion, having two of your pupils, two of your students, two of the people that you're training, and now they have to gladiate to each other, and putting a lot of things in perspective. And number one is like, who wants more? You know, who's gonna get the emotions floating to be able to, the other one, when they look at on their eyes and say, oh, the guy's is scared of me. You know, both are great skills. The last encounter that I have Durinho was the last tournament, Miami Open. He did a phenomenal performance. I believe it's going to be a clash of the titans for this new millennium. We have a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Usman has a phenomenal striking. Durinho is being upcoming.
And he has a wrestling background?
And he has a wrestling background. So Durinho, his striking got phenomenal, tremendously better.
Yes.
I believe, like I said, we have to fill it up the gaps in the fighting aspect. If you're not good in train takedowns. If you're not good in like striking, and you are MMA fighters or upcoming fighters, so you have to fill all those gaps.
You said the technical. I believe, my understanding at this point in time is that when you have such great gladiators like that, the little technical things, who is going to be able to transition better from maybe striking to wrestling, from wrestling to jiu-jitsu, who can maybe Usman use some of the wrestling to get out of some situations in jiu-jitsu. And so I think it comes to little tactics. That at that level it comes to tactics.
Yeah, I will believe it will be a long round match. Won't be a short match. Of course, lucky punch is always there. Lucky kick is always there. But since they know each other pretty well, they know they're kind of like the game pretty well. I think for the listeners that are watching this show right now, the main questions be how they are training. Because usually the last week of your training, you kind of like the last, I don't know, maybe 4 days before, you want to do a little bit like last training, last round to see. So how it's going to be? Somebody's going to train in the morning, and he's going to train at night, but the coach cannot be involved, but then the teammates cannot be involved. So that's what the emotions that I'm talking about. During the fight, when the referee said, are you ready? Are you ready? Fight. We will see who is going to have what I usually tell my students, the 1%. Everybody has a chance to win. The moment that you step on the mats, the moment that you step on the cage, the moment that you're in the arena, you're a fighter, I'm a fighter. You have 50% of the chance, I have 50% of the chance to win. You can try to do a takedown, you sleep, and I pass your guard, and I be able to get a mount position taking your back. I'm ahead of the game. But whoever's going to put 1% on that match or any other match is going to be the champion. And that 1% involves like the emotional part, the check that's probably waiting on the locker room, who's going to be on the news on the next day, who's going to be boosting on the Instagram on the next day, on the YouTube, or whatever it is. So the 1% makes a difference. I tell you from my experience, like in 2017, I did the no-gi worlds I never fought a no-gi tournament. I fought a couple of local tournaments here, but no-gi worlds, I never did it, Professor. I lost for a great competitor. He be able to submit me. There's no shame at all. I was doing really good. My mind was on place, everything was on set, but for a frame of a second, I did not pay attention to the mover coming, and I got caught, and I tapped, and it's okay, because you know what? My life keep going. You know, from 2017 until this day, I believe a lot of great things happened to me. But it's not because, I lost, oh my God, my life is going to be to the girder, everything is going to shut down. Sometimes you cannot leave off that. It's the moment. Leave the moment.
Life, and that's a great point. And life is a culmination of different events.
Correct.
Just one moment is not going to determine this journey of your life.
No.
In fact, you can use that one moment to help that journey
100%,
of your life.
100%.
Is there anybody in the UFC now that's happening that maybe you're looking forward to the fights or looking to their fights or anything in the present condition of combat sports now that you're looking forward to seeing or happening?
My friend, I will tell you this. There has a gentleman that I have a really, really good charisma for him. I will say his name. You're probably going to know him, Mr. Jose Caceres.
Yes.
I really like his style. I really like how he's so humble, how he's so respectful. Every time I see him, Master Buiu, I said, don't call me Master. I don't reach that title yet. I don't want to reach that title yet. So just call me Buiu, you know, because that's a relationship that you develop with fighters, because they go for some unbalanced scenarios and momentum. So there's plenty of fighters out there, but I believe the one of Usman and Durinho, that's the one that I'm really looking forward to, Professor. I want to really see that. Of course, like, Vitor Belfort, which is used to train with me long time ago in Brazil. That was like, I still die-hard fan for Vitor. You know, I have a lot of...
You mentioned the gentleman that we've had the honor to have at 305 Fights. He's been the champion at 305 Fights. Jose Caceres. And I agree. And that's why I invite him to a podcast again, because he's showing the sport, the art, the business, and he has those qualities to rise and to show everything in the martial arts. Because I said we're promoting the martial arts. Before we end,
yes, Professor,
I would like to, if you would, what is your contact in your school?
Well, for everybody that's listening, for everybody that's watching the show, and one day you want to visit the dojo, you know, if you carry those elements that we spoke about on the program, you have the doors are open for you. We do have visitors, you know, every month. I'll say up to 3 up to 5 visitors from different parts of the country. The school is located in Kendall, West Kendall. We are Carson Gracie, Miami, which is the home of a Ghost Squad BJJ team, the name that I baptized it. Classes are limited classes for everybody that wants to
Where on
come.
social media, what's your website?
Well, the website will still remain the same, with Carson Gracie Miami. We're very active on Instagram page.
Go to Instagram page. What is your handle? Same?
Same.
Carson Gracie.
Carson Gracie Miami. Yeah. Carson.
Yes,
my personal is just Buiu BJJ.
Okay,
that's
so that's
simple.
your personal.
That's my personal.
Same thing in Facebook, correct?
Same thing.
And the phone number over there?
The phone number, Professor, is 305-386-4103.
Yeah, we're gonna have that on screen, all that information.
Thank you, Professor.
And also, if you need to contact any of our guests, you contact 305fights.tv and we'll get you the information. Lovely.
Julie.
Yes.
Julie, my second soul. My
second
soul.
Any shout outs, anything you would like to say?
No, just thank you very much for having us.
Yes, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for co-creating what you're doing, and everybody needs co-creation. Everything is a co-creation. Nothing is created by themselves.
Pastor, before you leave, without support, there's no us, right?
Correct.
So at this moment in time, if you allow me, I would like to say thank you for Kimono Zatama. They are being very supportive to my team. They are being very supportive to myself as well. Great company from Brazil, which is I'm very grateful to be able to string the attachments with them, bringing like a company here.
Yeah,
and
and are they on social media? So
they're on the social media.
What's your social
The
media?
Instagram page is Atama USA. So everyone that's listening to the show right now, if or in the future, if you wanna like just navigate in and see the products, please do so.
Perfect. Please keep me informed with that because I would like to get involved.
Oh, thank you, Professor. They are great people. You know, Marcelo, it's one of very professionalism. And just for the quick note, as humble as we are, we create a little store online with the Ghost Squad products called store.buiubjj.com, which is like proceeds from that store. We try to sponsor
Yes,
fighters.
thank you so much. I think I have some
There
of
you
these
go.
things here.
You have your package there. You have your package
Awesome.
there,
I
Professor.
love my job. This
Thank
is
you,
awesome.
thank you. You deserve
I'm getting
it,
gifts. I'm getting gifts
That
here.
shirt is actually created by my beautiful wife. This
Awesome.
is the Ghost Squad logo over there. You can. We have a little phrase behind, and she created 100%. Huh?
Rash guard.
Yeah. Professor got a little strong, Professor. I think I need to change your size.
That's
You know? Yeah.
Guarantee was no joke. So now I'm back to chokes.
There you go. There you go.
That's awesome. You know that where champions rise, that logo was actually created by my partner also,
Oh my
co-creator.
goodness, that's a blessing. That's
Yes,
a blessing,
yes.
Professor.
And here have.
This is your unique
Thank you
hashtag
so
guard.
much.
Hopefully it fits
If you
you,
want to
Professor.
know any information about this, you can contact us through TV. We'll get it to you. I recommend it highly.
Thank you, Professor.
I would like to share with you
Oh,
us
thank
also
you.
for thanking you guys for sponsoring us and just sponsoring the martial arts in general and the philosophy, the techniques, everything, the workout of martial arts. Thank you so much. So I would like to close out the show. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Gracias por verlo. 305, donde suben los campeones. 305 Fights is where the champions rise.